The Vietnam War, Origins and Escalation. In this video, you are watching real archival footage from the past. These moments were captured decades ago during one of the most complex wars in modern history. The images you see are authentic historical recordings preserved to help us better understand the events, decisions, and human experiences of that time. Background: Vietnam before the war. The Vietnam War did not begin suddenly. Its roots stretch far back into history, shaped by colonial rule, global politics, and the struggle for independence. For nearly a century, Vietnam was part of French Indochina. French control brought economic exploitation, cultural suppression, and growing resistance among the Vietnamese people. During World War II, Japan occupied Vietnam, weakening French authority. When the war ended in 1945, a power vacuum emerged, and with it, a new conflict began. Ho Chi Minh, a nationalist and communist leader, declared Vietnam's independence. However, France attempted to reclaim control, leading to the First Indochina War. Division of Vietnam. In 1954, after years of fighting, the French were defeated at Dien Bien Phu. The Geneva Accords followed, temporarily dividing Vietnam at the 17th parallel. The North became the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, led by Ho Chi Minh. The South became the Republic of Vietnam, supported by Western powers, particularly the United States. The division was meant to be temporary. Elections were planned to reunify the country, but they never happened. Both sides believed reunification should happen on their own terms. Cold War context. The Vietnam War cannot be understood without the Cold War. The United States feared the spread of communism in Southeast Asia. This fear was summarized in the domino theory, the belief that if one country fell to communism, others would soon follow. To Washington, South Vietnam became a critical front line. To the north, reunification was a national and ideological mission. By the late 1950s, the conflict was no longer just Vietnamese. It had become global. Early American involvement. At first, the United States did not send combat troops. Instead, it provided financial aid, military equipment, and advisors to South Vietnam. American advisors trained South Vietnamese forces and helped plan operations. But instability plagued the South. Political corruption, unpopular leadership, and weak public support undermined confidence. Meanwhile, communist forces in the South, later known as the Viet Cong, gained strength through guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla war and rising tensions. The Viet Cong avoided direct battles. They relied on ambushes, tunnels, sabotage, and local support. This type of warfare was unfamiliar and frustrating to conventional armies. Villages became battlefields. Civilians were often caught between two sides. As attacks increased, so did American involvement. By the early 1960s, it was clear advisors alone would not decide the war. The Gulf of Tonkin Incident. In August 1964, a critical moment occurred. The U.S. reported that its naval vessels were attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin. The details were unclear and remain controversial. Nevertheless, the incident led to the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, giving the U.S. president broad military powers in Vietnam. This marked a turning point. The war was about to change dramatically. Escalation and combat troops. In 1965, the first American combat troops arrived in Vietnam. Airstrikes intensified. Ground operations expanded. What began as support had become a full-scale war. Young soldiers were sent thousands of miles from home, into jungles, mountains, and unfamiliar terrain. The conflict was no longer distant. It was personal, violent, and relentless. The human cost begins to rise. As fighting escalated, casualties increased on all sides. For soldiers, the war was exhausting and confusing. For civilians, it was devastating. Villages were destroyed, families displaced, lives permanently altered. The reality of war clashed with expectations, and questions began to surface. Closing of Part 1, Cliffhanger. By the mid-1960s, the Vietnam War had entered its most intense phase. What followed would shock the world, divide nations, and change how wars were perceived forever. In the next part, we will explore the major battles, the Tet Offensive, and how the war began to turn, both on the battlefield and at home. If you find this historical content valuable, please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. Your support helps this channel grow and allows new videos to be released faster. More archival history is coming soon.